My parents demanded $60,000 for my sister's tuition until I discovered their luxury trip and flipped the situation in a way they never saw coming. The Seattle skyline stretches before me like a postcard, all gleaming glass and promise. From my corner office, 40 floors up, I can almost believe I've outrun my past. Almost. The notification dings on my laptop. Another email from Mom. I hover over the subject line, Lila's graduate school, family support needed, and something cold slithers down my spine. I click it open because I always do. Priscilla, darling, wonderful news. Lila has been accepted to Woodward University's psychology program. We're all so proud. The tuition is $60,000 for the first year, and we're hoping you'll contribute since you're doing so well with your company. Love you bunches, Mom. Attached is a photo. Mom, Dad, and Lila, arms linked, raising champagne glasses. Their faces glow with celebration. I wasn't invited. My hands tremble slightly as I maximize the picture. They're standing in front of the fireplace at home, the one Dad built when I was 12. The mantle still holds the same family photos, documenting a history where I was always behind the camera, never in front of it. The office around me blurs as memory pulls me backward. I was 16, Boise, Idaho, where summer heat bakes the pavement and dreams go to suffocate. For months I'd saved my Target cashier wages, planning the smallest celebration at Alfredo's, the only Italian restaurant in our neighborhood that wasn't a chain. Nothing fancy, just pasta with my family on my birthday. The morning of, Mom called me into the kitchen. She wore that expression, mouth pinched at the corners, eyebrows raised in apology that never reached her eyes. Lila's got a cold, honey. We'll celebrate another time. I nodded because I always did. Is it bad? Just a little fever. Nothing serious, but you know how these things go. Your father and I need to stay home with her. Father. That night I ate a grocery store cupcake alone in my bedroom, a single candle burning down to a waxy puddle. When I checked Facebook later, because punishment is a habit, Mom had posted a family photo. Family night hearts, taking care of our little one. Hearts family means everything. No mention of my birthday, no mention of me. I swallow the memory and minimize the email. My office seems too bright suddenly, too exposed. Throughout high school, I worked part-time jobs while maintaining straight A's. When Mom's car broke down, I paid the repair bill. When Dad lost his job for 3 months, I covered their insurance. When Lila needed dance lessons and special shoes for summer camp, I contributed without complaint. You're the responsible one, Mom would say. You don't need the attention Lila does. And I believed her because children trust their parents to tell them the truth about who they are. Even in college, I sent money home. Each semester, I'd calculate my budget down to the penny, allocating funds for textbooks, ramen noodles, and my monthly contribution to the family. They called it giving back. I called it earning love. My graduation day at Stanford stands out like a bruise that never quite healed. 3 empty seats in the front row, marked with reserved signs I'd placed there myself. My phone buzzed 10 minutes before I walked across the stage. Sorry, sweetie. Lila had a piano competition. You're strong, you'll understand. Professor Winters found me after the ceremony, my eyes dry but burning. Your family couldn't make it? She asked, straightening the tassel on my cap. Something came up. The words tasted like metal. Their loss, she said, squeezing my shoulder. I'm proud of you. I thanked her with a voice that didn't crack because I had years of practice. The Seattle sky has darkened while I've been lost in thought. Lights flicker on across the city, tiny constellations of other people's lives. I close my laptop without responding to Mom's email. On my desk sits a single framed photo, my graduation day. If you look closely, you can see the empty chairs in the front row. I've kept it as a reminder, though of what exactly I've never been sure. Until now. I trace a finger across the glass surface, connecting dots that have always been there, waiting for me to acknowledge the pattern. When I needed them, where were they? The words fall into my empty office, quiet but firm. Rain begins to tap against my window, Seattle's constant companion. I press my palm against the glass, feeling the vibration of water striking surface. Something shifts inside me. Not a dramatic break, but a subtle realignment, like a bone that's been set after years of healing wrong. This time will be different. The Facebook notification lights up my phone, like a neon sign at midnight. I swipe it open. My morning coffee turns bitter on my tongue. There they stand. Mom, Dad, and Lila, posed in front of their renovated kitchen. Granite countertops gleam under pendant lights I've never seen before. Mom's caption reads, "Kitchen dreams finally come true hearts, blessed hearts, home sweet home hearts, Something electric and sharp travels up my spine. The timestamp on the post shows yesterday, the same day she asked me for $60,000. I set my coffee down with too much force. Liquid sloshes over the edge, forming a small puddle on my glass desk. I don't wipe it away. My fingers move on their own, scrolling through her timeline. 2 months ago, Robert surprised me with an anniversary trip to France. Hearts, 28 years with my best friend. Photos of the Eiffel Tower, glasses of champagne, pastries I can't pronounce. 6 months ago, new wheels for the family. Hearts God provides. Dad leaning against a midnight blue SUV, arms crossed, grinning like he just won the lottery. My breath quickens. During my senior year at Stanford, Mom called weekly about their struggling finances. "Just a little help with the mortgage, Prissy. Times are tough for everyone." I sent them $800 every month while eating ramen and working 2 campus jobs. I click on Lila's profile next, something I rarely allow myself to do. Her life unfolds in filtered squares, dance recitals, piano competitions, hiking trips with friends, all the experiences I funded through high school and beyond. 3 photos down, I stop cold. Lila and Mom, arms around each other's shoulders, standing in front of a beach house. The caption reads, "Thanks Grandma Wallace for the best gift ever. Hearts, your inheritance made this vacation possible. Hearts, blessed hearts, family time." Inheritance. The word pounds in my head like a hammer. No one told me about an inheritance. My hands tremble as I open my laptop and pull up the spreadsheet I've maintained since high school. Every contribution, every dollar sent home, meticulously documented. A scrolling testament to my desperation for approval. The total stares back at me. $32,417.86 over 8 years. I feel sick. The phone rings. The screen shows Aunt Martha. I almost decline, but something pulls my finger to the green button instead. "Priscilla? You there?" Her voice sounds older than I remember. "Hi, Aunt Martha. Yes, I'm here. Listen, I don't have much time. Your mother's on the warpath. She's telling everyone you've abandoned your family responsibilities." My jaw tightens. "What?" "There's a family gathering next Saturday. They're planning to discuss your..." She pauses, lowering her voice. "Selfishness." Those are Eleanor's words, not mine. "I just got the email about Lila's tuition yesterday." "And you haven't answered yet? That's why she's upset. She expected you'd say yes immediately, like always." Something cold and hard forms in my chest. "I see. If you don't help with Lila's school, they're saying you'll be cut off. For real this time." I almost laugh. Cut off from what exactly? Birthday cards with no personal message? Christmas calls that last exactly 7 minutes? Thanks for the warning, Aunt Martha. After we hang up, 3 text notifications pop up from cousins I rarely speak with. Each message carries the same subtext: "Why aren't you helping your family?" I close my eyes, letting the rage wash through me rather than fighting it. When I open them again, I stand and walk to the file cabinet in the corner of my home office. Inside the bottom drawer, tucked beneath tax documents, sits a small wooden box. I lift the lid. Birthday cards from ages 8 through 21. Everyone signed love, Mom and Dad. No personal message, no acknowledgement of my interests or accomplishments. Beneath the cards lie bank statements. Each highlighted withdrawal represents money sent home, each one a futile attempt to buy what should have been freely given. I sit on the floor, surrounded by paper evidence of emotional neglect. A strange calm settles over me. I've been buying love that was never for sale. The words fall into my empty apartment, sudden and true. I gather the papers, place them back in the box, and shut the lid firmly. For the first time, I see the pattern clearly. I always say yes. They always take. Nothing changes. My laptop pings with an email notification. "Marcus, my business partner, Priscilla. You okay? You missed our 9 a.m. Not like you. Call if you need anything." I check the time, 10:15. I've lost an hour to this excavation of the past. I type back. "Family stuff. Can we talk? Lunch?" His response comes immediately. "Trattoria at 12. I'll clear my afternoon if needed." Something loosens in my chest. Here is a relationship based on mutual respect. On seeing me. I open another browser tab and search graduate school tuition payment options. Articles about tax-exempt gifts directly to educational institutions fill my screen. I begin to read, making notes as I go. My phone buzzes with a text from Sarah, my closest friend from Stanford. Aunt Caroline said your mom's upset about money. What's happening? I stare at the words. Aunt Caroline, my mother's older sister who lives 2,000 miles away. Somehow this has already traveled that far. I type back, Mom wants me to pay $60,000 for Lila's graduate school. Sarah's response is immediate, and you said no? Finally. What they do isn't normal, Pris. No one treats their kid like an ATM. The validation sends a warm current through me, not normal. Those two words light up something I've buried for decades. My next steps form with surprising clarity. No more automatic yes. I open my contacts and scroll to Lila's number. We text occasionally, strained communications full of surface details and mutual avoidance of deeper truths. I type carefully, Hey Lila, can you send me your tuition details and student ID? I'm considering a gift. Send. I wait, watching the bubble that shows she's typing appear and disappear 3 times before her response comes through. Really? That would be amazing. Mom said you might help. Give me a sec to find everything. Of course, Mom already told her I'd help. Of course. The next text contains Lila's student ID and a link to Woodward University's payment portal. I save both. My phone rings almost immediately. Mom. I let it go to voicemail. Then Dad calls. Then Mom again. The voicemail notification appears. I press play. Priscilla Elizabeth Bentley, how dare you go behind our backs to talk to your sister about money? We are a family, and families discuss these things together. Call me back immediately. My finger hovers over the delete button, but instead I save the message. Documentation, evidence, the beginnings of a strategy. When the phone rings a 4th time, I answer. Priscilla, what are you doing? Mom's voice is tight with barely controlled fury. Hello, Mom. I keep my voice even, controlled. I'm handling this my way this time. A pause. What does that mean? It means I'll be in touch. I end the call before she can respond. For the first time in my adult life, I've said no without saying the word. My hands shake, but my mind is clear. I pack up my laptop to meet Marcus. He'll help me see this objectively, without the fog of guilt and obligation. Later, I'll call Dr. Wilson, the therapist I started seeing after my company's first million. She's been gently suggesting I examine my family dynamics for months. As I lock my apartment door, my phone buzzes with another text from Lila. Mom's really upset. What did you say to her? I type back. I said I'm handling things my way this time. 3 dots appear. Disappear. Appear again. Finally, oh, okay. Thanks again for considering helping with school. I step into the elevator, breathing deeply as the doors close. The air feels different somehow, lighter. As if by changing the script, I've altered the very atmosphere around me. The boundaries of a new world are taking shape. One where I am not defined by what I give, but by what I choose. The next morning, my phone buzzes against the desk. Another notification. I don't need to look to know it's from my family. A quick glance confirms it. Eleanor's latest Facebook post. Sad when success changes a person's heart toward family. Some people forget who was there when they had nothing. The comment section fills with sympathetic replies. Aunt Jeanette, some folks just get too big for their britches. Uncle Paul, family should always come first. Distant relatives I haven't seen in 15 years, suddenly experts on my character. I set the phone face down, but the screen lights up again. Robert calling, 5th time today. I silence it and watch his name fade to black. My assistant Marcus appears in the doorway, his expression guarded. Your father left another message with reception. Said it was urgent about your mother's health. Was he crying this time or just using his disappointed voice? Neither. He sounded practiced. Marcus hesitates. Want me to block the front desk calls? I nod, grateful for his understanding without needing explanation. An email arrives from Aunt Martha with the subject line urgent. Family discussion about you. I open it and find myself copied on a family thread I was never meant to see. Eleanor, we need to discuss Priscilla's selfishness as a family. She's abandoning her responsibilities to Lila. Robert, after everything we've done for her, I'm deeply disappointed. Cousin Jennifer, has anyone tried guilt? That always worked on her before. My stomach clenches, not from the content but from the casual cruelty of it. The accidental copy reveals what I've always suspected. Family meetings about me. Strategies for manipulation. The blueprint of my entire childhood exposed in black and white. The phone buzzes again. Lila this time. I answer. Lila? Her voice sounds small, uncertain. Mom's really upset. She's been crying all morning. Is she beside you now? I ask, knowing the answer. A pause. No, but But she asked you to call. She's just worried about tuition deadlines, Lila whispers. Can't you just help us out like you always do? The familiar weight settles on my shoulders, the responsibility, the guilt, the expectation. But something feels different now. The weight doesn't crush me, it strengthens me. I'm helping you out, Lila, not them. After we hang up, Aunt Martha calls. Her voice carries none of the judgment from the email chain. They're turning everyone against you, Priscilla. I just thought you should know. That evening, I research options. IRS Section 2503(e), educational payments made directly to institutions are exempt from gift tax. No money passing through my parents' hands. No opportunity for redirection. I call my financial advisor the next morning. Smart move, he says after I explain. Direct educational gifts protect both the giver and recipient. I create folders on my computer, family financial history, tuition documentation, communication records. Each interaction cataloged, each manipulation preserved. The system feels like armor. At lunch, I call Woodward University's financial office directly. Yes, we can certainly arrange direct payment with a specific designation, the administrator explains. Many families prefer this method. Back at my office, I stare out at the Seattle skyline, the same view that witnessed my initial shock now reflecting a new resolution. My success gives me options they don't control. The phone rings. Eleanor. I answer on speaker, setting my recording app to capture the call after the legal notification beep. This call is being recorded, I state. What? Why would you? Eleanor's voice shifts instantly from accusation to hurt. Priscilla, honey, why are you doing this to us? After everything we sacrificed for you. Robert's voice joins in. We gave you everything. And this is how you repay us? What specifically did you sacrifice for me? My voice remains steady. My 16th birthday party that was canceled for Lila's cold? My high school graduation you missed for her recital? Or maybe my college graduation where I saved seats in the front row and you never showed? The silence stretches across 3,000 miles. That's not fair, Eleanor finally says, her voice dropping into the wounded mother tone I've heard since childhood. You know your sister needed us more. I needed you too. You're breaking your father's heart, Eleanor says, tears evident in her trembling voice. Is that what you want? A month ago, those words would have shattered my resolve. Now they strengthen it. I can love you without being manipulated by you, I say quietly. I'll help with Lila's education, but on my terms. After I hang up, Marcus brings me coffee. Your mother called since she wanted to come by. I told her you were in meetings all day. Did she believe you? Doesn't matter. I wouldn't let her pass reception if she came back with a SWAT team. Sarah texts offering her guest room for the weekend. Distance helps clarity, she writes. My therapist emails techniques for maintaining boundaries during conflict. A colleague stops by my office to share her own family estrangement story, making me feel less alone. That night, Lila sends the university payment portal information. Mom wanted me to ask for a check instead, she admits. They said the money could help with more than just tuition. What do you mean? Her response takes almost 10 minutes. They want to finish the kitchen renovation. They said you wouldn't know the difference, and the money would still help me eventually. The betrayal burns cold, then hot. Lila, I'm paying your tuition directly to the university, nothing else. They'll be furious, she whispers. With me, not you, I assure her. I'm making sure your education is secure. I spend the evening documenting everything, creating a journal of family patterns, saving emails in organized folders, recording legally notified phone conversations, organizing past financial support records. Each piece builds a fortress against denial. The university paperwork requires only a few fields: my information, Lila's student ID, payment amount, and designation instructions. I type carefully, $60,000 for tuition only, no third-party access or redirection permitted. My finger hovers over the submit payment button, trembling slightly. The screen glows in my darkened apartment, illuminating the choice before me. 22 years of trained compliance battles against newfound clarity. Am I ready for what comes next? I whisper to the empty room. The answer comes in the steady rhythm of my heartbeat, no longer racing with anxiety but strong with conviction. I press submit. The screen flashes, payment processing. And for the first time in my adult life, I feel truly free. My phone chirps with the university's confirmation email. Payment received. Tuition-only designation. The words glow on my screen like a shield, protecting both Lila's education and my sanity. I exhale slowly, watching Seattle's morning fog roll between skyscrapers outside my office window. For once, I've protected myself first. The tranquility lasts exactly 27 minutes. Priscilla. Eleanor's voice slices through my speakerphone, pitched somewhere between accusation and panic. The university says you've already paid Lila's tuition directly. I tap my pen against my notepad, steady as a metronome. That's correct. Why would you do that without telling us? They won't let us access any of it. Her words tumble faster. There's the housing deposit, textbooks, her car insurance. The payment covers tuition only, Mom. That's what you asked for in your email. A silence stretches between us, thin and sharp as fishing line. Then Robert's voice joins the call. Of course, he's there too. Priscilla, after raising you to put family first. He pauses, voice thickening with practiced disappointment. Why didn't you trust us to handle this? My fingers trace the edge of my desk, memorizing its smooth contour. I trust education. The money is exactly where it belongs. Eleanor recovers quickly. We're having a family meeting this weekend. Everyone's concerned about your attitude lately. Aunt Judy, Uncle Tom, even Grandma Verna. The old Priscilla would have flinched at the thought of disappointing Grandma Verna. The new one checks her calendar instead. I have prior commitments, I say, voice level. But I appreciate your concern. You've always made time for family before, Robert says, the accusation unmistakable. Things change. Later that evening, I draft an email to the extended family, fingers hovering over the keyboard before committing to each sentence. To clarify recent discussions about Lila's education, 1. I've paid Lila's full tuition directly to Woodward University. 2. The payment is specifically designated for educational expenses only. 3. I will not be attending this weekend's gathering but remain available by phone Tuesday evenings between 7 and 8 p.m. Regards, Priscilla. No justification, no defense, just facts. The next morning, Marcus drops by my office, closing the door behind him. His 6'3" frame somehow makes the space feel safer rather than smaller. Your mother called the office line twice yesterday after you left, he says. I'm sorry, don't be. Lisa screened her beautifully. He settles into the chair across from me. You holding up okay? I nod, then reconsider. Actually, I've been thinking about why they're like this. My parents grew up during the oil crisis, watched their own parents struggle financially. Understanding them doesn't mean you have to keep playing their game, Marcus says. I know. But seeing the pattern helps me stop taking it personally. I straighten a stack of papers on my desk. Still hurts, though. Growth usually does. My phone buzzes with a notification. A voicemail from Eleanor, her voice pitched to carry through walls. The university won't even speak to us. What kind of daughter blocks her parents from helping their own child? After everything we've sacrificed, I save the message without deleting it. Evidence, not emotional anchor. Robert's email arrives an hour later. You've stolen a family opportunity to support Lila together. Your success was meant to lift all of us. Success they never contributed to. Graduation they never attended. Dreams they never acknowledged. My phone pings with a text from Lila. You made Mom cry. I don't want your money. The words sting, but I recognize the script. How many times had I rejected something I desperately needed because accepting it meant acknowledging I'd been wronged? The social media barrage starts Saturday. Cousin Beth, money really changes people. Uncle Tom, some folks forget where they came from. Small caliber bullets, designed to wound pride rather than kill relationship. I turn off notifications and head to Sarah's apartment, where actual friends await with wine and perspective. She opens her door with an understanding smile. The tribunal convening without the accused? She asks, taking my coat. Apparently I've been tried and convicted of independent thinking. Sarah's apartment buzzes with voices our college friend Diego, my work colleague Vanessa, and Dr. Wilson, who technically shouldn't socialize with clients but made an exception for what she called a boundary celebration. To Priscilla, Diego raises his glass, who finally learned that family doesn't mean financing. We laugh, and something loosens in my chest. Here, nobody's measuring my worth by my wallet. On Monday, a formal letter arrives from Woodward University. Dean Harrison personally thanks me for my generous support of academic excellence. I trace the embossed letterhead, imagining Lila walking those hallways, learning to help others navigate their own family mazes. The call from Aunt Martha comes Wednesday morning, catching me during a rare coffee break. I spoke with your mother yesterday, she says, Voice lowered, though she lives alone. She claimed you refused to help Lila at all, until I mentioned I'd seen the tuition receipt. What did she say then? Changed the subject faster than a politician caught with his pants down. Martha chuckles. I'm starting to see what's really happening here. A small victory, but significant. The first family member to question the narrative. The weeks blur together. Sarah hosts dinners. Dr. Wilson helps me recognize guilt without surrendering to it. Marcus shares stories about his own financial boundaries with siblings. Slowly, these connections fill spaces that obligation once occupied. Friday evening, my phone rings with Lila's number. I answer before I can overthink it. Priscilla? Her voice sounds smaller than usual. Can I ask you something? Of course. Why did you specify tuition only on the payment? The question I've been waiting for. What did Mom and Dad tell you? A pause. That you didn't trust them. Her silence answers before her words do. I didn't, but I know patterns. They told me you wouldn't. Notice the difference. Her voice cracks slightly. They've done this before, haven't they? Many times. By mid-October, cracks appear in the united front. Eleanor's sister calls me directly, bypassing the family switchboard of gossip. Your mother's story doesn't add up, Priscilla. She claimed you abandoned the family, but you're paying for Lila's entire education? Robert texts, not calls. A first. Maybe we could have handled this better. No apology, but a hairline fracture in the wall. They argue with each other now, according to Lila. Small disagreements about who said what, who promised what, control slipping through their fingers like sand. The final text from Eleanor arrives on a Thursday evening while I'm reviewing quarterly projections. If you can't respect our family's ways, perhaps you're not really part of this family. I set down my phone. The threat that once would have shattered me now barely ripples the surface of my calm. They finally played their last card, the one they thought I feared most. But you can't exile someone who's already found home within themselves. 3 days later, the family intervention proceeds without me. I know because Uncle Frank texts me during the meeting, his message a reluctant courtesy. They're all here talking about you. Your mom's crying. Just thought you should know. I place my phone screen down on my desk, focusing on the Seattle skyline instead. The rain creates rivers on my office window, distorting the view. Fitting. That night, the coordinated email barrage begins. First, Aunt Helen, family means forgiveness, Priscilla. Then Cousin Diane, we're all worried about you. Finally, Uncle Jim, your mother is beside herself with stress. Each message follows the same template. Concern wrapped in judgment. Forgiveness that requires my surrender. I catalog each one methodically, saving them to the folder I've labeled Family Pressure Campaign. Mom calls at 7 the next morning. I let it ring through to voicemail. Priscilla, honey? Her voice wavers. The doctor says my blood pressure is through the roof from all this stress. I just don't understand why you're doing this to us when all we've ever done is support you. Dad's message follows an hour later. Your success has come at the cost of family values, Pris. We taught you better than this. My jaw tightens. I've run the company financial report twice, unable to focus. When Marcus knocks on my office door, I startle. Whoa. You look like you're about to break that pen, he says. I glance down at my white knuckles. Family stuff. Still the tuition drama. Marcus perches on the edge of my desk. I thought that was settled. They're escalating. I hand him my phone, showing a text from Dad that arrived minutes ago. We've talked to Raymond Green about the tax implications of your so-called gift. There may be legal questions about your mental state when making financial decisions. Marcus whistles. Raymond Green? Isn't he that hack lawyer who advertises on late-night TV? Between the Murder, She Wrote, reruns, and denture cream commercials, yes? A bitter laugh escapes me. They're grasping at straws. What's their endgame here? Control, money, take your pick. My phone vibrates with a new message. Lila, can we talk? Mom and Dad say I have to choose between them and your money. I don't know what to do. Something cold settles in my stomach. This is the move I didn't anticipate, using Lila as the final pressure point. You okay? Marcus asks. They're forcing Lila to choose sides. My voice sounds distant to my own ears. Jesus, that's low. I stare out the window. Am I making everything worse? Maybe I should have just written the check and walked away. Marcus shakes his head. Don't do that. This isn't about money anymore. It's about them realizing you're not their ATM. But Lila's caught in the crossfire. I tap my fingers on the desk, thinking. I need to see her, directly. No parents, no pressure. Later that day, the coffee shop sits midway between the university and downtown, neutral territory. I arrive 30 minutes early, securing a corner table where we can talk privately. When Lila walks in, her shoulders are hunched, eyes darting around nervously. "Thanks for coming," I say as she slides into the seat across from me. "Mom doesn't know I'm here." Her voice is barely above a whisper. I nod. "This isn't about them. It's about us. They say you're trying to buy my loyalty." Lila fidgets with a packet of sugar, "that you're using your money to control me." "That's projection." I keep my voice steady. "This isn't about the money, Lila. It's about honesty and respect." Mom says, "Let me show you something." I open my laptop, turning the screen toward her. These are my calendars from high school through college. The highlighted dates are important events in my life: birthdays, graduations, academic competitions. Lila leans forward, squinting at the screen. The red X marks show which ones Mom and Dad missed. I scroll through years of calendars, a sea of red marks, every science fair, my Stanford graduation, my company launch. "But they always said you were the independent one," Lila murmurs. "Now look at your calendar." I click to a different file. Your piano recitals, your spelling bee, your dance competitions. Notice something? Her eyes widen. They were at all of mine, every single one. I swallow hard. And I don't begrudge you that. You deserved their support. But so did I. Lila's eyes fill with tears. I didn't know. There's more. I pull out a folder with bank statements. These are transfers I made to help the family while I was in college. Car repairs, insurance payments, your summer camp. Lila picks up a statement, hands trembling slightly. $2,500? While you were in school? I worked 3 jobs that semester. They told me your scholarship covered everything. She looks up, confusion etched across her face. They said you had it easy. Now look at these. I slide over printouts of their Facebook posts. Vacation photos from Europe last year, Dad's new truck, the kitchen renovation. When did they do all this? After Grandma Wallace died, they received about $75,000. Lila sits back, her face pale. They told me they couldn't help with my tuition because they had no savings. Let me explain something else. I pull out another document. This is IRS Section 2503E. It makes tuition payments tax-exempt when paid directly to educational institutions. The money I sent is designated for your education only. It can't be redirected. That's why they're so upset, Lila whispers. They can't access it. I nod. The financial office confirmed they tried to have part of it refunded to them, for the roof repair. Lila's voice cracks. They said you wouldn't mind helping with the house, too. Something shifts in her expression. The first real recognition I've seen in years. I didn't do this to hurt anyone, I tell her, but I needed to stop a pattern that's been hurting me since I was 16. Lila reaches across the table, her fingers brushing mine. I think I understand now. That evening, I make the call I've been dreading. Mom answers on the first ring. Priscilla? Thank God. We've been so worried. Mom, I need to talk to both of you. Can you put me on speaker? A pause. I'm setting some boundaries, I say, my voice calm but firm. I love you both, but love doesn't require submission. Now listen here, Dad begins. No, you listen. My voice doesn't waver. I've documented everything. The missed events, the financial support I provided, the inheritance you received while claiming poverty. I've shared it all with Lila. Silence stretches between us. I won't engage with manipulation anymore. I won't respond to group emails about my character. I won't defend my choices to the extended family. You can't just... Mom starts. I can. And I have. I take a deep breath. My relationship with Lila is separate from my relationship with you. That's non-negotiable. More silence. Then Dad's voice, smaller than I've ever heard it. Maybe we've taken you for granted. The words sound dragged from somewhere painful. Mom makes a choked sound. If you want to rebuild our relationship, it starts with respect, I continue. Not obligations, not guilt, not money. I end the call before they can respond. My hands aren't shaking anymore. The Seattle skyline glitters with possibility against the October sunset. From my balcony at South Lake Union, the city spreads before me like an affirmation. 2 years have passed since I made that tuition payment. 2 years of rebuilding and rediscovering myself. GeekWire's feature sits open on my tablet. MedSync valuation reaches $28 million. How Priscilla Bentley transformed patient records. The modern healthcare cover still feels surreal. Success tastes different now, less like validation and more like vindication. My apartment reflects the change. Gone is the sterile minimalism that once mirrored my emotional barricade. Now warm textiles and rich burgundy drape across my sofa. Photographs of friends line the hallway, and fresh flowers brighten the kitchen counter. Light pours through uncovered windows I no longer hide behind. The phone rings. Lila's name appears on the screen. Our monthly calls have become a ritual neither of us expected. My finger hesitates for only a moment before answering. "How's my favorite counselor?" I ask. Exhausted, Lila laughs. "First-year clients think I have all the answers." Welcome to adulthood. Silence stretches between us, comfortable now where it once felt like accusation. "I was looking through old pictures yesterday," Lila says finally. Her voice drops. "That birthday, when you turned 16, I remember Mom telling me you were fine with staying home because I had a cold." My chest tightens, then releases. The memory no longer cuts as it once did. "I used to think you were cold," Lila continues. "But now that I'm paying my own bills, facing my own choices, I get it, Pris. I finally get it." "Get what?" I ask, though I already know. "How much you gave up. How much they asked of you. How much I benefited without even knowing." The weight of her words settles around me like a familiar coat I no longer need to wear. "I hope I can be like you someday," she whispers. For the first time, her words feel like recognition, not obligation. Later that evening, I host my own birthday dinner. The table fills with faces that weren't there during those empty childhood celebrations. Marcus raising a glass to courage without bitterness. Sarah, who flew across the country just to be here. Colleagues who've become confidants. To boundaries, Marcus toasts, his eyes meeting mine with understanding. Candles flicker on the cake they've brought, not a desperate solitary flame in a darkened bedroom but a constellation of light surrounded by genuine affection. The following week I stand on the TEDx Seattle stage. Emotional boundaries and family relationships wasn't the talk I imagined giving when I built my company, but it's become the legacy I'm proudest of. The price of peace isn't silence, I tell the audience. It's the courage to speak truth without expecting others to hear it. A young developer approaches me after my presentation, her eyes reflecting the same hunger for validation I once knew intimately. "My parents think my success belongs to them," she admits. "How did you find answers?" I smile, recognizing my former self. Some questions don't need answers anymore because peace is the answer. That night, cleaning out old email drafts, I find one from 16 years ago. The subject line, "Birthday dinner cancellation." The first line reads, "Dear Mom, I just wanted to ask, did you forget my birthday?" I press delete without reading further. Some questions have lost their power to wound. Mom and Dad still send occasional holiday messages. Brief civil exchanges that acknowledge our shared history without pretending the wounds never happened. I no longer measure my worth by their response. The sunset bathes my balcony in amber light when my phone chimes with a text from Lila. "Still on for sister dinner next Tuesday?" I type back without hesitation, looking forward to it. In my journal later, I write the truth it took me decades to learn. Family isn't always who you're born to. Sometimes it's who sees you clearly when others look away. The greatest gift wasn't what I gave Lila. It was giving myself permission to be valued.